Hello, I'm Monickie Scott.
And this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. Thank you for joining us for 5-Star Conversations as we support and encourage women on their 5-star living journey.
Yes, once again, we are joined by women who are mothers, grandmothers, aunties, and godmamas, and we're continuing our conversation about navigating the raising up and caring of our younger people, the younger people in your life. In the midst of COVID and the times where screen time and the digital world of video calls, video meetings, video classes have become more of the norm. Ladies, please introduce yourself. Give your name and title, starting with you, Carol.
My name is Carol Frazier. I'm CEO of Inside Look Entertainment News.
Kamara.
Hi, I'm Kamara Bowen, and I am a proud mother of two.
Yay, Trisha.
Hello, everyone. I'm Trisha Parsad, and I'm a mom of two teenagers and also a leadership development consultant and coach.
And Rhea.
Hey, y'all. I'm Rhea, the scholarship doctor with Scholarship Solutions, and I am the proud auntie of the traveling toddler himself, Justin Boomer.
Yay! Welcome to the ladies. Welcome to the show, ladies. I am loving this energy. So today we're gonna start with pandemic parenting burnout. Parents around the country were suddenly forced to care for their children full time, supervise online learning while continuing to work jobs at home in the midst of a deadly pandemic. Is anyone here not suffering from pandemic parenting burnout? And if so, I want to know how. How are you not suffering? How you doing it? And if you are feeling a little bit of this, how are you working through it? So let's start with you, Rhea.
I'm the auntie, although I am blessed to live with my 6-year-old nephew, see him every day. He also has a grand-mère. He speaks French, Spanish, and English, and so grand-mère is French for grandmama. He has a mama and a daddy who take very, very, very good care of him. So, and my nephew is world schooled. So since age 4, he has traveled around the world before that, but specifically for educational purposes. And again, I'm the supplement. I do the testing and the field trips. So I haven't had a lot of hands-on, minds-on, play-on is what we say at House of Knowledge Christian Academy Homeschool. So I haven't burnt out because I just get to have fun and just fluff with them and eat lunch.
Lucky you. Lucky you. Well, that's good. So now we know. Now we know. In order for you not to burn out, you just got to be the village support system. Who is anybody here suffering or has suffered through the burnout at all that would like to speak on it? What? Everybody's good? I am.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, then next question.
Tony, can I chime in?
Yes, please.
So I think I'm in reverse. Let me tell you, I loved having my kids at home for the year and a half. I've told everybody that. I didn't look forward to them going back to school, except for the fact for them to have some more of a social life. But now that they're back at school, I'm dealing with 2 different schools. One who has to be at school at 7, one who has to be at school for 8:30, one who has to be picked up by 3:45, one that has to be picked up by 5:30 or 6. And I'm feeling the burnout kicking in. Like by day 3, I was feeling like, oh my gosh, this driving here, there, and everywhere is for the birds. I did not miss that at all. And I remembered it's like embedded in my physical body. I remembered it by day 3, like this is not how we are designed to live, or at least this is not how I'm designed to live. So it's an adjustment for me to go back in person and be driving a lot more than I did for that year and a half. I've had a reverse problem.
Area.
Okay. So so what's happening for you right now?
Yes.
Got it. Anyone else want to touch up on that subject?
Well, I would like to chime in.
Thank you.
I didn't get any burnout because I was already homeschooling my children. This is going to be year 3 for us. So that I missed as far as going out at a certain time. So I knew I would need to be back in the house by 1 o'clock because the kids start getting out of school. So I didn't like being around like that traffic, but burnout, like it's a joy for me to be here with my kids and stuff. So it's the outside part and like, oh man, I can't drive right now because then I'm gonna be in the school traffic and then, but other than that, we're pretty okay.
Glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Sounds good. Okay, so let's think about when the microwaves first came out, right? It was like a benefit, but then it was like everything was being zapped, right? So what do you guys consider to be the benefits or the setbacks growing up in this digital age versus when we grew up without so much of it? And I will start with Rhea.
Well, for me, it's amazing because when I was applying for scholarships, it was literally a reference book and my mama at a table at the West Las Vegas Library. And now I can put in anything that I want to think on my phone. Y'all see it's purple, right?
Nikki.
On my laptop, I don't have a tablet, my nephew does, but we can just throw in keywords and just see all of the world at our fingertips in regard to that. So I'm loving it. I'm thankful for it because access is so key. I think one thing that has broken my heart, honestly, I know you guys didn't ask about this, but during pandemic is really seeing the digital divide. I mean, I knew about it 20 years ago, but the reality of a family having one laptop and 4 children that had to get on that and figuring out and how was that damaging and affecting education, it broke my heart, even among my own clients, where we had to adjust to this. They had never done that. They had always scheduled child 1 from 2 to 4 and child 2, but you couldn't do that when everybody had to start at 7:35 a.m. in the morning. And, and I am blessed to work with people who could make that adjustment, but I saw plenty who were not. And again, my nephew is 6 and has an iPad and has the access when his mama allows him, which is very limited. But I thought about the children that was not an option for, and some of the tragedies that happened in our school district, and I'm sure around the country, and even from colleagues, the places that I heard among our native population and some of the most rural and poor communities.
Yeah.
And so that was difficult for me. Even though I'm blessed to what I said, I'm glad to have access to the internet. It's never been an issue for me, but I know around the country and even the world it was.
Yeah. Wow. Carol, what's your take on that?
Well, I don't use a microwave. But I love the technology. I mean, it's amazing to me because I think about like when you're watching an old TV show and something happens and they have to try to drive where they are, and I always think if they had a cell phone or you can call anybody for help, so I love all of the technology.
Yeah.
Nice.
Trisha?
Would you mind restating the question for me, Felina?
Absolutely. Like, what are the benefits or the setbacks in this digital age with our children having so much access to digital devices?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the benefits is they have access much more quickly than we did. I remember opening up my encyclopedias to do my research, and now they've got Dr. Google and everything else under the sun to be able to access. And my son, he's 14, he likes to make a joke with me because I'll say something and he goes, "Is that from the 1900s?" Little cheeky one I got there. So, and he gets a kick out of saying, "That's from the 1900s.
Wow.
7 years removed from that, But, the access it does make everything much easier, I think, for them. The downside is the access. It's hard, right? Because then they can access so much. And even though we have a lot in place to prevent access to things we don't want them to have access to, there's still some things that might not be filtered that you still would think maybe it's a little early for them to access, right? And so that's why I intentionally take time daily to talk about things, because I want to know what's showing up for them in their life. I want to know what they're going through mentally, emotionally, physically. You know, I've held my children, I've dealt with tears, I've dealt with joy, I deal with everything. And our daughter's only 2 years away from wanting to leave and move up north in California or back east. And when I think about that, it's hard. The flip side is I've got family up north and I have family in New York, and I know they'll take good care of her, but I'm very, very close to her. And so that's hard. And then I'll be grateful for FaceTime, right? If and when she does move away, FaceTime will be my best friend, because I will want to see her beautiful face and connect still like we did when she lived at home. So access is both the pro and the con.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kamara, your take on it? I know your babies are kind of young, but
Yes, but yeah, my babies are young, but I have so many nieces and nephews, so it was like those are my babies too.
yeah.
And being able to see the different ages and stages, because I have nephews from 0 on up to 18, or just turned 21. My oldest nephew just turned 21 like yesterday. But being able to see the age range, I do believe that it is the access. The access is definitely a pro. And yes, the access, excessive access is the con. You know, it's just too much of anything is not good for you. So not being able to control like what your children will see, being in a different influence or a different environment, you know, because yes, you can try to situate everything at home. Okay, don't be on this, don't do this. But then when they go out to their friend's house, they may be watching things on their internet that they're not watching in your home. So just the access alone, it's just knowing, hopefully, that you put enough tools in your children to know what they should and shouldn't be doing, and you know, having that open dialogue with your kids, period. So I think both, it's, you know, both are advantages and disadvantages to it, but I love it. I love being able to have that access.
Dialogue is
Anything I don't know, I'm like I'm like, anything I don't know, I just go on internet. I'm like, oh, let's learn it together, you know.
Google.
exactly. Dialogue is so very
Mhm.
important. I know I have issues trying to process everything that comes at me, so I can imagine their young brains trying to process all that's coming at them at one time. So when you think about this younger generation as a whole, what are you liking about what you see? And I'll start with
Ooh, yes.
Trisha.
I think in terms of my daughter, because our son, he just got to high school and just got a phone at the end of 8th grade. We held off as long as possible with him. And she's had access to a phone longer, therefore more access to the internet. But what I like is that she's very aware of what's happening in the world, what's happening in the nation, what's happening in the community. And we talk about those things. She's very aware of the experiences she's had at school, good and bad, and the larger implications and the context of what that could mean. So from that standpoint, I feel like I didn't have that until college. And she's getting it at a younger age, in particular in high school, in the last year and a half. And so she, I think, is more armed and ready to go into the world and to know what's out there, and to be less naive like I was, and be much more ready and to deal with whatever she's got to deal with. And she deals with it now. Now, the flip side is, I just want to piggyback off of what Kamara said. She talked about tools in her last answer. And I was like, yes, that is so true. because my daughter will see people posting for parties where she knows there's going to be drugs and alcohol. She's not interested in going because we've had those conversations about what those things can lead to. Our son, I don't know what kind of little group chat he was in. Somebody used profanity. His response was, "Watch your mouth." And I was like, but I knew it went back to giving them tools, right? To know what's right and wrong and appropriate and not appropriate. And he had no qualms, like his 1900 statement, right? Watch your mouth, like not in my space. And I love that. That made me proud, to be honest. And it makes me proud that she would rather not go and miss out on the social life, if that's what that is, than to be in in a setting like that. So those things I think are crucial, just like you said, Kamara, tools, right? And values and appropriateness.
Nice. Kamara, you look like you wanted to chime in. Did you have something to add to that?
Yes, I did, but I just forgot the question because
When you think about this younger generation, what is it that you like about what you're seeing?
yes, I did want to try. Oh, yeah. I love the individuality. The kids now are really learning how to really think for themselves because there's so much information and there's a shift that's happening. So more kids are being more awakened than worried about being the follower, being the leaders, being outspoken to certain things that's happening in the environment and what they see on social media. Most kids are now speaking out and using their voices. I think that is the greatest thing ever because they're they're the ones who's going to be here after us. So seeing that a lot of them are actually taking action and not going and doing what everybody else is doing, and they're okay with knowing, yeah, I may be a little weird, and not think like you should feel bad for being weird. Having your individual thoughts and not following the crowd, and them being individuals, it's so much more important than the following. So I love the power that a lot of them are having these days.
Exactly. Most definitely.
Absolutely. I definitely wish that in my era, I was, in an environment where I could have been freer. And, nonetheless, what do you guys think as adults, how we could be better role models to continue to push our future generation, especially when it comes to like online behavior? What advice would you give? And I will go back to Kamara.
Yes, what we would need to do is definitely lead by example. We can't preach to our children, oh, twerking and don't be doing this and doing that, and then here you are on your live twerking, So it's just being able to lead by example, or like I drive, when I'm driving and I'm telling, my kids about like texting or, you shouldn't be on your phone. I make sure that they see that I'm never on my phone. So it's not well, you did it, or just speech, just talking. So it's just showing and leading by example that, you can use the internet for the good, use the internet for what it is good for, networking with people.
I couldn't agree.
Not continuing to put that negativity, because what you see negative is what you're going to speak negative.
That is so right. What about you, Carol?
Well, I'll just go to my last granddaughter. She all wants to know information about my life. What did you do? She just turned 4. And most interesting she wants to know is, how did Grandma Felina have 10 kids? And she wants to count. She counts them all and say, there were 10 kids in the house. She's always on the computer. She's doing her schoolwork and everything on there. But she wants me to stop and tell her about my mother and how she had 10 kids. And then she counts and says, it's my dad, my mom, and me. So it's only 3 of us. But it was 10 of you. And with my mom and dad, it would have been 12. So she's interested in things like that.
Wow.
That just, it amuses me.
Nice. Rhea?
So I was on the previous question. So help me with the new question.
No, no worries. And we've only got about a minute left. We just want to know how you could be a better role model.
Ooh, I think just showing kindness and expressing love and doing that intentionally. I think to use Miss Trisha's word. And so that's it. I think if we can
Awesome.
spread love and not lies.
Exactly.
Love it.
Ladies, I applaud all of you. You guys are in some wonderful spaces. And the children's lives who you're involved in are just so lucky to have you be a part of them. Before we go, please give your name and your social media handle or your website, starting with you, Rhea.
Hey, Al, I'm Rhea, the Scholarship Doctor. You can follow me everywhere, including on TikTok at Scholarship DR. That's Scholarship Doctor, and myscholarshipsolutions.com. I'd love to have you. Mwah!
Carol.
Carol Frazier. I'm at, my email is info@insidelookentertainmentnews.com. Website https://insidelookentertainmentnews.com. It's a digital website.
Awesome. Kamara.
You can find me on social media, Instagram at maggiebnotary.com. I mean, not Maggie B Notary, but I also have my website, maggiebnotary.com, and then my credit repair website, for 850.com. And yeah, you can find me on social medias.
Trisha.
Can you spell your website? Spell your name, Maggie. Is it
Trisha,
M-A-G-I-E?
we'll have her go
It's
back.
Okay.
Go ahead, Maggie.
Right. So I'm Trisha Mason Parsad, last name Parsad, and I'm on LinkedIn. So it's pretty easy to find me. Thank you.
Awesome. And we want to thank you for joining us on this 5-star day. We believe in you, and we believe that you're going to have a more 5-star life starting right now. We know that you could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here with us, and for that, we thank you. We look forward to seeing you on Facebook at 5-Star Living Show and joining the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle. Remember to laugh more and love more while taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely. The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by Flossie Flicks Photography, Monickie.com, Flossie Lots, and Meditate with Mo. Until next time, keep 5-star living.
Yes, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
everyone.